So this month marks 2.5 years since I took some action on my binge eating problems. I used to have binge eating disorder. The unfortunate thing about binge eating is that a lot of times we live in a society where binge eating symptoms don't really allow themselves to show, right? A lot of people can't function in their careers, in their family life, if they had a binge drinking problem or some other issue, right? Using certain substances or even a sexual addiction often doesn't bode well with family life, and they realize they have a problem, right? They bottom out, right? The problem with binge eating is that you don't bottom out until something really bad happens, right? And oftentimes can result in you having to make significant changes. So I thought I would point out some symptoms of bottoming out that I felt with my binge eating that made me take a lot of corrective action. So one of the first issues that I noticed was that I would be so consumed with wanting to get a food that I was craving that oftentimes other things would fall by the wayside, right? I'm running late to get to work. I want to get my favorite food. I can't seem to find it for whatever reason, right? There's a barrier of some sort, and I just get consumed by that, and I don't care that I'm running late for work, I'm running late for a family commitment, or whatever the situation is, right? I just get so consumed by it, right? I really need to be getting involved in something at a social event, at a workplace event, but I'm so consumed with wanting to eat whatever I want to eat that, I run 15 minutes late, right? I can't leave the home because, oh my God, I gotta have my favorite meal. Meanwhile, I promised to meet somebody at 6 and it's already 5:50, 5:55. I can't get out the door because, oh my God, I want to eat everything that I want to eat, right? Now that's a big problem, right? Now earlier this month, I had a problem. I recently left a job. It was toxic. I talked about this in other videos, and I took another job where I felt much more accepted for who I am. I mean, there's always going to be pros and cons, right? The con with that job was that I got a lot more hours than I was hoping to, which is good. But one day I didn't have a whole lot of time to go out to lunch. I had half an hour, and I had been fasting the previous day because it was trying to remember which event that was. I can't remember actually. Oh, Iran Air 655. I was mourning the loss of Iran Air Flight 655, which the U.S. shot down during the Iran-Iraq War, and then the next day was the 4th of July, obviously. So I've been fasting a good 30-some hours. I was about to break that, and I only had half an hour. And I rushed out, and I forgot to bring my credit cards. And I rushed out to the store, and I didn't realize I didn't have my credit cards while I was in the store. I was looking for a pack of sausages. I can't remember the brand, and they were sold out. And this is a Safeway store, and there are very specific things I can get at the store. So I go get a bag of blue corn chips, get to the register, and I don't have my credit cards. In the rush to get out of the tutoring center, because I only had half an hour, during the tutoring session, because I have to stand and write on the whiteboard, I took everything out of my pocket. I forgot it. I left it at the table at the tutoring center. I leave the Safeway store, and I just feel so lost in thought. So lost that I paced around the parking lot, not knowing which direction to go, and I was 2-3 minutes late getting back to the center. And not a very good first impression, but it's very mild compared to other eating disorders I had. And when I got to I knew where I left my credit cards, but when I got back to the tutoring center, I made a scene. I asked my boss, "Did you see my credit cards?" Because I wanted to make sure he understood why I was late, right? That I wasn't consumed by some nonsense, right? And my credit cards are on the table. Sorry about that. To kind of give myself a little bit of an excuse for why I was 2-3 minutes late. But that's the problem I run into, right? I wouldn't have been late if I didn't get myself lost in thought at the Safeway. Now, earlier this week, I had, I have a favorite Whole Foods that I like. They have a cafeteria. The unfortunate thing is they still don't have indoor dining. I'm recording this in July 2022. I don't think it's because they're scared of COVID anymore. I think the problem is they did renovation and they haven't been able to order new furniture because of all the shortages and all that. And so they only have outdoor seating. And one day I went there was a huge blizzard, 20-mile-an-hour wind, and napkins were being blown all around, and I was eating, and stuff was flying, food was flying everywhere, and I still insisted on eating. See, I would never do something like that with any other activity besides eating, right? Imagine I were doing anything else, right? I would look for a much better condition to do it. But when it's with food and I'm craving it, I'll put up with that, right? And I think that's a sign that it reminds me of how people put up with other nasty habits, right? Smoking, sexual addictions, right? Needle sharing when they're injecting stuff, right? They could care less when they're in the middle of a craving, right? That's how I felt when I was eating under those conditions, and I felt ashamed of myself. Anyways, those are some symptoms I felt of drug seeking, if you will, right? None of those are very pleasant feelings to have. And unfortunately, we live in a society where this is tolerated for whatever bizarre reason, right? Imagine you behaved this way with anything else, right? People would think you were a lunatic, right? But with food, because the right people are making the money off of your bad habit, we seem to tolerate it.